I have a cobblestone farm. Also, I have a basalt farm. However, both of them were kind of a starter farms, and I did not intend to use them for as long as I did. It's long overdue for me to build something bigger and faster. If you know me, well, if you don't, hello, I'm the Mystic Crafter. So I'm something of a fan of a good multi-purpose farm, and since cobblestone and basalt generators are mostly built on the same principle, I think it's very fitting to build two in one, cobblestone and basalt farm. I made a relatively simple design that produces both at the same time, and conveniently, it produces more cobblestone than basalt because, let's be honest, I will be needing cobblestone way more. I will show you how to build it, and I will put schematic for the download in the description. Oh yeah, important detail to mention, the design relies on iceberg lettuce TNT duper. It's actually the most important part of the farm, so thank you iceberg lettuce. Luckily, we don't need too many materials. Everything we need is in the shulker box, plus whatever you see inside my inventory. I use copper as a building block, but it can be any building block that is not flammable. All of the waxed copper grate are mostly for the decoration, so they're not very necessary. Also, you can replace crying obsidian with normal obsidian. Also, you will need more than 2 water buckets, but that's easy to make just from the 2. I think we are ready, so let's go! This thunderstorm is crazy. Let me sleep for a bit. Well, that's much better. Although, I don't know why I worry about the weather, because I tend to build my farm in the cave. I decided to build it in this cave, where I already have few farms. And as always, you build the collection system first. I made an area of 11 by 11 blocks that leads to one water stream that leads to a big storage area. This storage will fill up quite fast, so probably it will be much better idea to upgrade it with an item sorter and shulker loader. I built those many times before. Right in the center of that area, about 3 or 4 blocks above, I need to put one obsidian block, or crying obsidian. That's the block where TNT will land, so it must be blast resistant. Now we need to build up. First we need to go 8 blocks up. Make a temporary platform. On the 4th block from a center, we need to place soul sand and extend it by 2 blocks left and right. And repeat it on all 4 sides. On top of the soul sand, we need to place temporary blocks. That area is where the cobblestone and basalt will be generated, but if we don't want water and lava to pour around, we need those temporary blocks for now. On a 2nd block away from center, or on a 2nd from the soul soil, we need to put 1 temporary block so we can make a ring of crying obsidian. This doesn't necessarily need to be an obsidian. We just need a block that cannot be pushed by piston, so theoretically, we can use furnaces. Those are much cheaper. I need a copper grate diagonally from this ring, just like that. It's a decoration block. It doesn't need to be a copper grate, it can be any other block. I just like how it looks. And of course we need it on all 4 corners. Blue ice blocks need to go right behind this temporary deep slate. Combination of blue ice, soul, soil and lava is what creates basalt. In my case, this ice will have double function. It will also be used to push newly generated blocks around, so naturally we need sticky pistons. But since they need to be placed against the block, and also in the future they need to be powered somehow, these target blocks come in handy. Now repeat this on all 4 sides. I think it's quite simple so far. Both ends of the ice require another solid block, in my case, copper grate. And between those 2 copper grates, we place stair just like that. In that stair, I will place a water. Combination of flowing water and lava creates cobblestone. And because water is flowing much faster than lava, The cobblestone will be generating much faster than basalt. You will see later how it works. If you don't want to have basalt at all you need to do is just replace those soul soils with just any other full block. And if you don't want cobblestone at all, you simply remove that water. But for now, I need both. The lava will be placed right on top of those deep slate blocks. So we need to surround it with some sort of inflammable block. Copper, great for me, but only on the outside, because from the inside of the farm we will need to put pistons. Those pistons will push all of the newly generated blocks down to the explosive chamber. In order to place pistons, we need some sort of temporary blocks. Just like that. Let's clean this up. Also, let's fill up these cups. We will need to connect these pistons with redstone in order to activate it. Now you can place lava there in the middle, but if you want to be extra careful, you can place the lava a bit later, when the farm is completely ready, so you don't accidentally fall down there or drop your items. That would be a little bit inconvenient. So actually, bottom part of the farm is almost done. We only need to make redstone clock and connect all of the pistons. Now it's the TNT part. As I mentioned before, it's a simple TNT duper made by iceberg lattice. So we need one obsidian or crane obsidian block right there. It doesn't matter which side you choose, but from now on, the side will matter. Surround it by leaves, just like that, and waterlog them. One more waterlogged leaf right there on the right. I will create temporary water source right here, where the lava is supposed to be, so I don't have to run back and forth. Also, I will use it to waterlog these stairs that we placed before. Solid block and a slab left of the obsidian. Now solid blocks there. And a node block beside it. Observer looking into that node block. An observer looking into the observer. Now place a trapdoor behind that observer. On top of that obsidian, we need to place observer looking up. That's why I place few temporary blocks. One more solid block. Place 3 bottom slabs on top of that block. And waterlog the trapdoor. Put observer like that. And a piston facing that observer. TNT will be placed right on top of that water, but I'm not quite ready to do it. TNT will be literally the last block I will place in this farm. Don't want to risk. Now solid block next to that piston and few redstone dust to connect it. Just like that. Another solid block. Piston on that side. Now one temporary block over there, so I can place a piston looking up. We can remove the temporary block. And a simple piece of sand right on top of it. Now another temporary block, so I can put observer looking upwards. Oh yeah, and that pushed that observer to the left. If I had TNT, it would be a problem. It's okay, I will move that observer. And another node block and another observer. I hope I don't confuse you. Now another trapdoor over there, and another observer. Now we place few top slabs right next to the sand. We need the help of this one temporary block. It should look something like that. Top slab on top of node block. On top of those bottom slabs, repeaters with maximum delay. And a full blocks in the corners. Basically, this is our clock that will periodically activate TNT. But first, we need a trigger. Oh yeah, another node block there. So for the on and off switch, we need one lever right over there. And when the lever is down, it means the system is off, because that send is in up position and will not transmit the signal, and the clock will not continue. So when the lever is off, the clock will continue to go on. But we also need a trigger, so a button just right there. Remember, I told you have one misplaced observer. It's right there. I have triggered the system few times, but because there is no TNT, this observer stayed in the wrong place. So let me put it back. And instead of TNT, in order to test system, we can place something like copper grate, something that is technically a transparent block, but also can be moved by pistons. So copper grate is great for that. As you see, it works. It kind of works. Now I want to connect that level that triggers the system to yet another clock that will activate the bottom pistons. It will be simple repeater clock and a sticky slime piston. So when the lever is active, the system doesn't work. And when the lever is off, piston will be in the downward position and the clock will work. Similarly to what happens up there. So we just directly connect this part. As you see, the block is up, so the clock will not work. Now let's place redstone lamp right there. It will be a bit counterintuitive because when the lamp is on, it means the system is off. Let's observe that lamp and connect it to the clock. We need to connect it, but on a delay. That's actually quite important. So once that lamp will turn off, we will start the clock. That will trigger all of the pistons, but of course it will happen on a delay. Now we need to connect this to pistons itself. But the pistons in the inner ring needs to be connected with a delay, and slime pistons that are on the outskirts should be triggered earlier than the ones that go downwards. This means that we need simple redstone line connected to those sticky pistons, and whenever I need to put any repeaters, I put them without any delay. I hope I'm not too confusing. Let me know if you can follow. And by the way, before placing any TNT, do not, I repeat, do not forget to remove this temporary platform. We don't want any accidents. Now, before we put any TNT, let's test and see how it all works. It seems correct. I really hope it's correct. Now, I think I'm ready to place all of the lava and also cover it up. Let's remove any of the excess blocks that I produced while I was building the farm and didn't have TNT, because TNT cannot quite reach those blocks. And let's now place the very last block of this whole system. As I said, TNT will come very last. Honestly, I'm a little bit scared, but let's do it anyway. So, TNT here. Now flip the lever and press the button. And hope we don't explode. By the way, 2 disclaimers. Never leave this farm unloaded. Make sure that this farm is always in loaded chunks. So I really advise to make a chunk loader. Just a simple ender pearl right next to it would be fine. Which reminds me, I haven't checked the chunk borders, and apparently this farm is located in 2 chunks, which is not ideal. Not for myself. Try to pay attention to this in the future. Well, I told you, so now you know. But anyway, you can see how this farm works. Honestly, it's hard for me to explain why exactly the basalt is generated in T-shape. I suspect it has something to do with how fast water and lava are flowing and the block updates. But that funny quirk allows me to produce way more cobblestone and a little bit less of basalt. It's a little bit weird, but it's honestly so useful. And if you play with those delays on the clocks that lead to the pistons, the farm can generate a little bit more basalt, in case you need a bit more basalt than me. But anyway, if you like what I did, I have an offer for you. You subscribe to my channel, I plant a sunflower for you in my long-term hardcore world. One sunflower for every subscriber, plus a small bump in motivation to produce more videos for you, especially if you put that like and leave a comment with your thoughts. Thank you! Look, let me tell you something. Let me know if you could follow the tutorial. I'm not really a tutorial channel, but I'm trying to learn how to be clear, so your feedback would be great. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!